David, the persecuted protector. David was in the stage of fleeing King Saul, being intensely envied and pursued. He and his approximately 600 loyal men had to live in hiding in the wilderness of Maon and Carmel in the south of Judah. Living near Nabal's grazing area, David's men voluntarily acted as an unofficial, protective fence. They guarded Nabal's property and his shepherds from bandit groups and nomads who frequently attacked in the wilderness. The request for food was not merely repayment, but also a legitimate need for survival for a large group of isolated people without a stable supply. Nabal, wealth paired with foolishness. The name Nabal in Hebrew means foolish, Nabal, a stark contrast to his material wealth. He was a very rich man in Carmel, owning immense assets, 3,000 sheep and 1,000 goats. Nabal was known to be wicked or crafty, harsh and arrogant. He lacked basic hospitality and respect, especially toward those he considered inferior. David chose the occasion of the sheep shearing festival, a traditional time of celebration, feasting, and entertainment, marking the harvest and prosperity. This was the best time to request help. David sent 10 young men to Nabal, using polite and courteous language, mentioning the protection they had provided for Nabal's property. Nabal arrogantly refused in a rude and insulting manner. He not only refused to share food but also insulted David's honor and his men by asking, "Who is David? Who is the son of Jesse?" There are many servants today who are breaking away from their masters. This statement was not just a refusal but an open act of defiance, labeling David as a servant running away from his master, referring to Saul, denying all his protective services, and viewing him as a worthless person. David's violent reaction and act of disobedience. Publicly insulted and confronted with ultimate ingratitude, David flew into a rage, a personal emotional reaction. This insult touched upon the honor and livelihood of all 600 men. In his anger, David declared a harsh and destructive oath, to kill Nabal and every male in his household, swearing that no one would be left alive by the next morning. David armed 400 men with swords and set out, leaving 200 to guard the supplies. This act of David was disobedience to God's principle and law, not to take revenge oneself. Vengeance is mine. It was an action driven by personal anger, threatening to turn David, the anointed one, into an unjustified manslayer for personal revenge. The wise intervention of Abigail. This section clarifies the qualities and strategic actions of Abigail that diffused David's wrath. Abigail is described as intelligent, possessing deep understanding, able to assess the situation, and beautiful. She was the complete opposite of Nabal, who was wicked, foolish, and harsh. The combination of wisdom and beauty made her a character capable of strongly influencing others. One of Nabal's servants, who witnessed the master's rude behavior and David's service, secretly informed Abigail, realizing the impending danger was due to Nabal's foolishness. Abigail intervened immediately and secretly, without telling her husband, Nabal. This was a brave and decisive action to save her family, as she knew Nabal would object or obstruct if informed beforehand. Abigail prepared a large quantity of gifts, mostly food, reasonably to appease a hungry and angry army. The gifts included 200 loaves of bread, 2 skins of wine, 5 sheep already prepared, 5 measures of roasted grain, 100 clusters of raisins, and 200 cakes of pressed figs. She sent her servants ahead, while she followed on a donkey. This preparation was not just a bribe but also the act of hospitality that Nabal had refused, thereby restoring David's honor. Upon meeting David and his army, Abigail humbled herself utterly. She got off her donkey and bowed down with her face to the ground before David. She immediately took the blame upon herself, saying, "Let this iniquity be upon me, my lord." This action diverted David's anger from the main target, Nabal, to herself, someone willing to accept the punishment. She apologized for her husband's foolishness, using Nabal's own name as justification. "Please, let not my lord regard this wicked man, Nabal. For as his name is, so is he. Nabal is his name, and folly is with him." By doing so, she provided an acceptable reason for David, that Nabal's actions were due to his nature and not intentional defiance. The wise warning and prophecy. This is the most important part, where Abigail showed spiritual wisdom and foresight. She affirmed that David was fighting the battles of the Lord, and that God himself had prevented him from shedding blood without cause and taking revenge himself. She reminded David of his role as the Anointed One. She warned David that if he took revenge on Nabal himself, it would become a burden of guilt, a cause for stumbling, when he became king. Her wisdom was to look beyond the current anger, protecting David's future honor as the king of Israel. She said, "When the Lord has done for my Lord according to all the good that he has promised concerning you, and has appointed you ruler over Israel." This reassured David of his glorious destiny, showing that Nabal was just a minor obstacle, not worth risking the future for. Abigail's intervention was successful because it appeased the anger with material gifts, humbled him with words, and persuaded David with spiritual truth. The conclusion of this story is not merely a personal event but also God's intervention to execute justice and protect the Anointed One. David listened to Abigail's wise plea. He recognized the truth in her words, that God himself had sent her to prevent him from taking revenge himself and shedding innocent blood. David praised Abigail for her intelligence and wisdom. He thanked God for using her to restrain him from an action that would have disgraced him in the future. He accepted the gift and returned. This action shows that David, even in anger, maintained his humility and obedience to the Lord's guidance, through Abigail. He learned that vengeance belongs to the Lord, strengthening the faith and patience necessary to become a righteous king. When Abigail returned, Nabal was feasting while drunk, completely unaware of the imminent danger that his wife had diffused. This drunkenness symbolized his insensitivity and blindness to the consequences of his actions. The next morning, when Nabal sobered up, Abigail told him everything, the near calamity, his insult, and her intervention. Nabal's heart died within him, possibly a stroke or heart attack, after hearing the news, and he became like a stone, paralyzed. About 10 days later, the Lord struck Nabal, and he died. Nabal suffered death due to his own foolishness and arrogance. He lost his property, his life, and ultimately his wise wife. This illustrates the principle that a fool destroys himself, and God's righteous judgment against pride and wickedness. Marriage, the reward for wisdom and courage. After Nabal's death, David sent messengers to propose marriage to Abigail. David was impressed not only by her beauty but, more importantly, by her wisdom, courage, and spiritual insight that saved them both. Abigail accepted the proposal and became one of David's wives, along with Ahinoam of Jezreel. Abigail was elevated, from the wife of a harsh landowner to the wife of the future king, because of her qualities of intelligence, humility, and courage. Wisdom led her to honor, while foolishness led Nabal to death. Pride and foolishness, Nabal. Disobedience in respecting others, refusing help, despising the Anointed One. Loss of all, wealth, honor, life, due to his foolishness. Anger and revenge, David initially. Disobedience to God's principle, intending to act on emotion. Narrowly averted the sin of shedding innocent blood, was stopped. Obedience to conscience and recognizing the danger, acting with humility. Saved her household from destruction, was promoted to be the future queen's wife, and saved David from sin. The wisdom and obedience of Abigail saved a person, her family, and restrained the Anointed One, David, from spiritual death caused by the pride and foolishness of Nabal. If you like this video, don't forget to like, comment, and most importantly, Subscribe to the channel so you don't miss new content.